It must be Tuesday.
That it is. Down in Sports Talk, we are in the building. You already know the vibes. You know the cast of characters that's in the building. Myself, left-handed, at RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. And then I got my ubiquitous Code D in the house, Yada Bear over there. You know what I mean? Making it do
That's
what it
right.
do. Um, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, man. It's 8 o'clock. We're gonna try to finish this thing up about 9:30. We got to be. I gotta check in on our Phillies later on tonight and all that good stuff. Um, let's start where we start. NBA playoffs.
Down to the four.
The
Final four.
New York Knicks. But I'm not gonna talk about that. Let's start with tonight. We got a Western Conference final that I mean, if you look back probably October, November, Browski, people were saying, well, yeah, we could do Minnesota, you know what I mean? And we could do Oklahoma City. People, everybody was on Oklahoma City like this. Wee! Everybody was on
From
Oklahoma City.
from the jump.
So give them their props for that. But the Minnesota Timberwolves were in the Western Conference Finals last year. I'm interested in knowing and hearing how you feel about this series because I think it's going. Both of these conference finals are going to be really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of them go to 7 games. What's your thoughts on the Western Conference starting tonight?
I think that this right here is proof that the changing of the guards are happening right now.
Mm.
When we look at both sides,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the West, because the West is extremely heavy with aging superstars, our LeBrons, our Stephs, our KDs, our Russell Westbrook. Like these guys
Right.
are our aging superstars. Kawhi, James Harden. We look at this Western Conference final, none of those names are in this game. We have all of our young talent, especially with OKC, that these are all homegrown from the draft talent, SGA, Chet, Jalen Williams. You know, these guys are the foundation of OKC. Like they got these guys from out the draft, build them up, let them develop. They see OKC. They went the old school route with drafting this team. They found young talent, brought them in, and just gave them time
To
to learn
develop.
how to play together, to mature their game together, and also to mature individually as players. And out of that, you saw the progression each year, starting from being a playing team to being one of the top four teams in the West to now being the top team in the West, And then we have a young standout superstar in SGA who, started out in LA with the Clippers. The Clippers didn't know what they had.
Mm.
OKC saw the potential and it was like, yeah, we'll give you Paul George. I
Mm.
want I want Shea.
Shit, I would have gave
Okay?
him Paul George.
I would give
Mm-hmm.
him Paul George too. Okay?
Ringo, Paul,
All of them. Okay?
all of them.
So for them to
Right.
recognize, the talent that SGA had and to basically had the confidence in them to build around him, this is the fruits of their reward, right? Fruits of their labor. Like they are being
Mm-hmm.
rewarded right now
Mm-hmm.
with the number one seed, going out there, beating the Nuggets like they did in Game 7, really showing their dominance and showing that the youth and the fact that this coach has the confidence in his team that he will go deep in his bench. In the playoffs, you have like a 7-man rotation, maybe 8-man
Mm-hmm.
rotation on
Mm-hmm.
some nights.
Mm-hmm.
They keep it tight. Well, but with OKC, you got all these fresh young ladies coming in at you. Um, they basically, took the win out of the Nuggets. Like Joker was exhausted out there. He had no help. Jamal Murray disappeared in Game 7 per usual. Um, Aaron Gordon had this messed up hamstring. He out there basically on one leg. Michael Porter Jr. the disappearing guy. He's in and out of inconsistent the whole year, the whole entire time he's been in Denver. So it was like I'm happy to see OKC in this position, and then on the flip side with Minnesota, we have
Hmm.
seen the rise of Ant. We've been talking about Anthony Edwards since he came into the league and how he took over the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves were supposed to be Cat's team,
Hmm.
and as
That's right.
soon as Anthony came in, he took the reins and said, "Bro, I'm going to show you how to lead. I'm gonna show you how to lead this team." And now that basically got Cat sent back into New York, and and Anthony Edwards basically took over the team. And this also is a team that come at you different guys. You got um uh uh uh, uh, what's the guy coming off the bench? Nas Reed coming off the bench. You got you got a mixture of young and some vets because you got Mike Conley Jr. there, Rudy Gobert there.
You got the
So
McDaniels
yeah,
kid, right?
Jaden McDaniels there. So this series, I definitely agree with you. I think it's gonna go 7 games. I think it's gonna be a classic. I think we're gonna see that the NBA future may be in good hands with the likes of SGA and Anthony Edwards, because we always question who's going to be that next standout superstar. Who is the league going to rally around once the LeBrons and the Steph and the KDs retire, because they are all at the end of their career. So who's going to handle who's going to be the face of the NBA? And now we have two young guys here, and then we won the East with the Knicks and the Pacers, which is a rivalry. A lot of history between these
Hmm.
two franchises. Um,
Hmm.
and for them to meet up in the Eastern Conference Final, it's almost poetic. You can
Mm.
still
Let's go, Browski. Hmm.
see the lights of Reggie Miller, Detlef Shrimp, Mark
The
Jackson,
Davis brothers,
the Davis brothers, Mark Jackson, going up against.
Vern Fleming,
Yeah,
Haywood
and then you
Workman,
turn around the other side, you
Rick
got the
Smits,
Allen
hmm
Houston, you got the Patrick Ewing, Larry
Larry Johnson,
Johnson, John
hmm
Stark,
Starks,
Charles Oakley,
Oakley,
like
right?
you got all those guys, and you just think about all the hard hitting, um, fights,
Hmm.
trash
Hmm.
talking, all that. They bringing all that passion and all that aggression and just the competitive and the grindiness of the playoffs with this series right there. Like when you think of the Knicks and the Pacers, you think of low scoring, highly defensive, grimy, like we might fight. It might be a fight or two that may happen. Back then with those games. So I'm definitely excited. To see it. Um, Being a basketball fan, just in general, um, seeing these two teams go at it, it just gives me that nostalgic feel. Of what the NBA used to be like, in the late '90s, early 2000s, and I'm thinking that this series probably will go 7 games. Also, um, when people think of the Pacers, they don't really see them as a huge threat. I think when people look at these 4 teams, the Pacers is at the bottom of the list,
Hmm.
and I think that people should be cautious about the Pacers and not downgrade them, because we saw what they did last year with the Celtics. Like people thought the Celtics was gonna run right through it, and they made them fight for that. That was a hard for
After coming off
series.
a series with the
For
Knicks, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and now you know now we got them in the Knicks, and it's like I don't think it's going to be an easy series for the Knicks. I think this thing is going to go down to the wire. Um, I think each game is going to be highly competitive. I don't expect to see any real blowouts for real. I don't really expect to see 20-point leads and things like that. Like I would be very surprised if I see like someone's up by 20 going into the fourth. Like I would be surprised at that.
Mhm.
Um, I think every game is going to be tight, and I think it's going to go down to the wire. I'm not even. I'm like split on even who to pick for
Oh,
real,
okay, okay.
because that's how like
Well,
I
you
see
you
it.
you got to the end of the show.
Yeah, I see it a very yeah. I would have to wait to the end of the show to pick both sides because it's real close,
That's fine. That's yeah,
It's
and
real,
this is
real
what you
close.
like. This is what you want. You want to be
Yeah,
like a pick 'em, like you know what I mean.
yeah.
Ask me in 5 minutes, my mind might change. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So this is the kind of did you finish your thought?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that we talk about. You made a point, and I wanna piggyback off it. New blood, like you said. Nobody's missing these guys. Nobody's missing LeBron. Nobody's missing Steph Curry. It's I don't want to say that I'm glad that they're in it, but what we say, Bosky, all the time, especially when we come to these NBA playoffs, experience wins out.
Yes.
All the experienced dudes is home.
Is it's like a
So
fresher breath of
a fresher, a, a
fresh
fresher
air.
breath air.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like yeah,
That's gonna be on the blooper reel.
yeah,
A
yeah,
fresher breath air. But,
yeah.
but absolutely, I mean, when you talk about it now, like you just said, man, I gotta wait to the end of the show before I make my pick. Usually, it's like, well, Lakers are gonna do this, or the Warriors are gonna do that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Celtics are gonna do this. The conversation now, the it's almost like the guys who've been sitting on the sideline their whole
Yeah.
life waiting to get in the game are in the game now.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? They've been watching the OGs and the older cats do it for so long, and like you said, it's either it's injury or just your time is up, or these young bucks figured it out. And I
Yeah.
think it's the latter. I mean, these young bucks figured it out. Again, injuries notwithstanding, Steph got hurt, and
Mhm.
we deal. People get hurt every day, B.
Yeah. It
But at the
happens.
end of the day, they took advantage of what was given to them.
Yep.
In years prior, you could have a superstar or Steph Curry get hurt. Draymond, Clay, they gonna get you
Yeah.
and hold the fort down till Steph get back, and then they really gonna get you,
Yep.
right? So these young gunners, the Ed Edwards and these guys, the SGAs, um, they don't know nothing about that. They don't care
They
nothing
don't
about
care.
that. They went through their trials and tribulations and things of that nature, whatever, to get them where they are today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna be like you again. The second point, I'm gonna wait, because again, I'm like, well, I like Minnesota, but I can see Oklahoma City winning. I like the Pacers, but the Knicks are definitely winning. But this series is not gonna be. Remember, I said Knicks in six, right? This series is gonna be in an odd number, anything but three, right?
Yep.
So five or seven.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, and I'll give you my selection at the end of the show. The Western Conference is the same thing. Like, damn, son, where is the outstanding advantage that either team has over the other? The only one I can think of is home court.
Yeah.
Everybody's essentially, basically healthy. Kim, everybody's coming into this thing with the attitude like, we can't lose. We're going to win. These are the teams that everybody was talking about in November and December, in October, right? And here they are. Now, what we always say, Browski, three words. It's shine time.
Shine time.
So everybody, nobody's got other games to worry about and to play in and who's doing this and the combine and all that nonsense. Everybody's going to be focused on these two series right here until we get to the one series in 2 weeks that everybody's going to be have their eyes on,
Yeah.
right? Um, the Knicks and the Pacers. You brought it up. You talked about it. Roski be on the road the last 2 months. I don't know what's going on. You eating the Wheaties or something, but I don't know what's going on. But this Eastern Conference Finals is like, to me, it's a pick 'em. The only clear advantage that I can see, just like in the West where OKC got the home court, the Knicks got the home court. What are you gonna do with it?
Mhm.
What are you gonna do with it? Because I remember the Eastern Conference semis last year. We had Game 7 at home, and we lost. Jalen Brunson got hurt. I dig it.
Mhm.
We're all healthy now. This is why you wait from October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May to get to this. You don't want to be like, oh man, our superstar guy is hurt, and we got to go through the playoffs without our guy. No,
Yeah.
everybody got their superstar guy is ready and active.
Fact.
So, back to Minnesota and OKC. These are always teams that people talked about, and maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they needed some more time. Maybe they needed to grow a little bit,
Uh huh.
and they've done all the three. They took care of the time, right? They definitely grown, and so now it's time to show and prove. So when we say when they put that ball up later on in a few minutes, actually in Oklahoma City, um, all the other stuff about what happened in the past is over. You brought up another point that I'm going to touch upon.
Uh huh.
The face of the league. This is a race for the face. Is it going to be SGA? Is it going to be Anthony Edwards? Is it going to be Jalen Brunson? Is it going to be Tyrese Halliburton? Or is it going to be somebody else?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, again, you made another point, Kim. You said the old guard is being like ushered to their seats.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
go sit down somewhere and watch this and watch us carry this league moving forward.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, we said everything that we need to say. You talked about how the Knicks and Pacers series is going to be like, you expect games like in the 80s and the 90s. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the decades. I'm talking about the score,
Yeah.
right? So, again, you can kind of like not even pay attention to the game. Just catch the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That'll tell you everything you need to know. Diehard fans like ourselves, myself and Yada Bear, we're gonna be watching from Tuesday, tip the ball up. But casual fans, and that was gonna be my get down on it too, but I'll leave that alone. Casual fans, everybody's a Knicks fan now. It bothers me to no end, Kim. But you gotta let them live.
You know
But
how
I'm
the
gonna say,
bandwagons are.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
how
yeah. I
the
mean, the
bandwagons are.
bandwagon, type thing like that. But it just seems like when the Knicks are winning, everybody's in a happy mood, walking down the block, saying, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you? All right,
Hey,
yeah,
that's how it
yeah."
is. Anytime your team is in some type of finals or something like that, the whole city is peaceful. You know, it's at peace.
Rowski, I'm gonna blame your generation. Your generation is off the hook, off the rocker, off the meat rack, off the roof, all that. These kids, and I'm gonna say this too, my people who I respect and have a lot of admiration for, but me, I couldn't be out there. I couldn't do it. It was like literally like New Year's Eve on
Mhm.
34th Street. So many people out there. It was people on top of the billboard, on top of the street signs, on top of the phone booths, on top of it was everywhere.
Oh, so we the on so we're not the only one that climbing poles
Oh
and stuff
nah,
like that. All right
not at
then.
all. They do it. See, and here's the thing. Well, some New York Philly. I see you. I see what you did there. We don't need no stinking grease. We gonna climb up that pole. We might fall down and break a leg or ankle or elbow. Well, we gonna fall. They was taking the what do you call those things? The things that the barriers.
Yeah.
You see my man surf on the barrier. He was on the barrier like this, and
Oh,
they was carrying him back.
that's wild.
I mean, again, this is for the second round.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference Finals is gonna be worse.
No, it is.
The NBA Finals is gonna be worse than that, if you can imagine.
It
Now,
is.
I'm gonna say this, Kim. All the years that we've been celebrating championships, you in Philly, in New York.
Mhm.
I can speak for New York. I don't never remember one car being burned.
Yeah, we don't burn cars.
I don't get that with these other cities,
We
and
don't
I
start
don't,
fires.
we
We
don't get
might
that. You know what I mean?
we might climb on some poles and hang from the traffic lights and stuff like
Right.
that, but we
And
ain't setting up no
no,
fires.
it's gonna be hella fights out there. It's
Oh,
gonna be
oh yeah.
wild. It's gonna be it's not for the faint of heart. And this is a championship celebration.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. But you know what though, Kim? I'm gonna say this to my Nick brethren. Shout out to my man Nick's Fan TV. I ain't mad at you. It could do what it do. The cops was trying to hold him against the barrier. Them little kids, them fresh baby breaths was like, nah, son. Because they was trying to, the Boston bus was trying to get to, nah. They was like, nah. My man had the champagne bottle, was smashing it.
Yeah.
Listen, listen. I
Trust
can't
me.
say that I condone it, but what my man Chris Rock say, I understand.
Yeah, like I can speak for my folks. All right,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm 42,
Okay.
so I know that if it was the Sixers, we'd be the same way because we've been waiting for something like this all our lives.
Mm,
You
mm,
like
mm,
we hear stories about back then when
mm.
when Dr. J and Moses and them won the chip. We were still waiting for it. The closest we got was the 1 year with AI when we went to the finals against the Lakers. We got a little taste of it, and now we've been deprived from it. So I understand how Knicks fans that's my age is feeling because again they hear the stories, about in the '70s when won the championships, and then they grew up watching the Allen Houston, the Patrick Ewing, getting close, getting so close, but then you had this monster in Chicago of Michael
I was
Jordan
snatching everything from
that was
everybody. Right.
snatching from everybody. So we
Right.
have Sixers, Knicks. We've been deprived from championships because we had somebody here that was just dominating the sport
I feel
alone.
your
Not
pain. I feel your pain on that one.
yeah, that's just so when I see these Knicks fans that's my age crashing out, make the fact that they made it to the Eastern Conference Final, I totally get it. I'm right there with them. If it was my team, I totally understand. So they're just so excited and like just like, oh my God, is this about to happen?
Mhm.
Like they are on the break of just crashing all the way out.
Right. I dig it.
So
And that's
so
how I
so
feel about with the Knicks. Mhm.
after each victory is going to be a celebration like they just won the
Like you
championship.
just won the chip. Right.
So
Right. Right. You're right. You're right.
I totally understand.
All right. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what you suffer. All those 82 regular season games. You live with your team, you die with your team, and
Yeah.
you love them when they're doing good, and you get to talk ish about them when they're not. And this
Mhm.
is what you do. This is what it's about right here. Being
Yeah.
able to say, you know what, we're the last two teams standing. We're going
Yeah.
for our conference championship, and then we're gonna get to the NBA finals, and all the lights are gonna be on us, and we're gonna show you what it's like to be a Pacers or Knicks or Wolves or a Thunder fan.
Yeah.
But again, we're gonna give our predictions and our picks at the end of the show. But we just wanted to tap in because again, um, hyped and charged. Tomorrow night is gonna be a
I know you
problem.
are. I
Tomorrow night
know
is
you
gonna be a
are.
serious
I
problem.
know it's gonna
And,
be crazy down
yeah,
there
it's gonna be a
in
serious problem.
Manhattan.
And again, I just feel like um, don't count the chickens before they hatch.
Mhm.
We got 4 games to win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The last one is always the hardest one. It's cliche time now, Kimmy. The
Oh,
last one is always the
oh,
hardest one to
all
get.
the cliche.
Right.
Two
You know what I
teams win
mean?
championships.
Right.
The game
Uh-huh.
is a series of runs. You know,
Right, 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 right,
whatever,
right, right.
all the
That's right.
cliches
Like
come out during
every
during the
possession counts.
every
Right. That's right.
possession counts. You know,
That's right.
who's gonna have the last run in the fourth quarter is only one to win the game. You
Right.
know, it's all the,
It's
like I said, all the cliches
absolutely
come out during this time. So
no doubt. We're going to get back to the NBA conference finals in a hot second, but now we're just going to do a little potpourri. I got my NFL hat on for a reason, and I know it keeps like, so you got the Eagles under there.
oh, of course, well, I mean,
Listen, the tush push vote takes place tomorrow.
yep.
Um, I'm like totally with the tush push. I understand um, that it's a strategy, right?
Mhm.
And I'm quite sure if a team like, let's say, Denver Broncos or Chicago Bears did it first and it was working for them, they'd be mad at the Denver Broncos and the Chicago
Mhm.
Bears. So I feel like it's a culmination of things as far as the Eagles are concerned. All right. You've been in the Super Bowl, two Super Bowls in the last 4 years, right? You got a quarterback that's been through some stuff, but now he's fine. And I'm a believer and a proponent in Jalen Hurts.
Mhm.
When they said Jalen Hurts was his arm strength and all this old nonsense, I'm like, nah, knock it off. And I rock with Jalen Hurts. So for me, I feel like the team that y'all been putting together for the even went back to the Nick Foles and Doug Peterson type thing. You were setting yourself up for this,
Mhm.
right? You were getting acclimated. There's another one of
Mhm.
those words I just learned yesterday.
Mhm.
Acclimated to winning. You're doing what the Cowboys wish they could do, right? And now all of a sudden, the Commanders are turning into the Eagles Junior. They didn't came in past the Cowboys.
Exactly.
This thing got so bad for the Shield that all these teams, mad at this team because this team thought further ahead than all these teams.
Yep.
Than all these teams right here, right? So how could you be mad? Because you're gonna need that tush push one day.
Yeah, yeah, that's just all right.
Go ahead, Brasky.
So this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Packers they kind of like revised
Uh huh.
their complaint, saying
Yep.
that
It's still a
uh
complaint, right?
yeah, they're saying that
Mm-hmm.
it should be illegal for a tight end or a running back to push forward the quarterback or the pile. But guess what that's doing? That's not just affecting the tush push. That's affecting any 1 yard play because the Packers I've watched the Packers run a tight end sneak where they direct snap the ball to the tight end and guess who the tight end's getting pushed by? He's getting pushed by the running back and the offensive line is pushing him forward. So you telling me now that since you want to ban the tush push so bad, then you're going to ban just about any 4th and 1 play, 3rd and 1 play, 3rd and 2 play, goal line play where your offensive line now can't shove
Right.
the foul,
Forward. Right. Right. Right.
you know? So it's not just going to affect the Eagles, it's going to affect
The
everybody.
rest of the league.
So now everybody going to have to figure out a new 3rd and 1 play, 4th and 1 play. We can't now depend on your big linemen pushing the pile, pushing you in the pile. We'll be okay because as you see, we got a quarterback that squats over 600 pounds. We got a running back that also squats over 600 pounds. And then we got our RB2 who squats over 500 pounds. So, and we got the best offensive line in football. So, you telling me that we can't get 1 yard? We can get the 1 yard. We was just doing the tush push to show you everybody so that everybody knew this is what we're doing. It wasn't a trick play. It's not a surprise. It's just better variation of the quarterback sneak. And don't be mad that my front office was able to draft or bring in the personnel that can execute that to the fullest. Now, this is showing me that the defenses are soft because you're supposed to be, a defensive mastermind, defensive guru. All these defensive coordinators out there, you know,
Mad at the tush
got
push.
got all these, oh, he's a defensive minded running
Hmm.
coach. He's a defensive
The
guru.
best in
The
history.
best of
All
the
that old nonsense.
best.
Right.
But
Right.
you can't stop a play that you know is going to come. You know it's going to happen.
1 yard.
So like
12 inches.
12
12
inches.
inches. 1 yard. From here
You
to
know
there.
what's going to happen. It's never like, wow, I wonder what the Eagles going to do. I wonder how they're going to get this 1 yard. It's not a surprise. It's telegraphed. We do it all the time. Stop it.
That's it. That's all. Um, I'm gonna say this as the older cat.
Hmm.
Why didn't they stop Walter Payton when Walter Payton was jumping and leaping over the top of
Over
the
the top.
offensive line and the defense to get 1 yard to get into the end
Over,
zone?
over the top, bro.
Over the top. Now, when I was waiting to ask you, Kim, and what your thought while you was talking, what happens to the fullback? Isn't that when you need that 1 yard
Yep,
and you get the fullback the ball and he's going into the line? Who is pushing who then? You know
exactly.
what I mean? Isn't that the same concept?
It's the same thing. It's
That the offensive line is not reaching back and saying, "Come on," when they're pulling him. He got the ball. He put his head down. He's followed his all line to get 1 yard, and
it, it's the same. It just like
he's
when
pushing them from behind. What are we doing?
it's almost the same as when you hit the goal line and the quarterback reaches the ball over the
Mm-hmm.
boom,
Over the line. Mm-hmm.
over the line, boom, touchdown. So you gonna call that back because the ball crosses the plane? You gonna call that back? You know why? Why? Because he's not getting low, and then you're gonna say, oh well, it's a high risk of serious injuries.
To
Where?
who?
Wh- But my thing is where?
Yeah, to who?
Because
Who gonna get
when you
hurt?
think about us doing, we've been doing this play for about 3 years straight, consistently for like 3 years straight. I can't point out one significant injury. And if someone were to get injured, it would be on the offensive side because at the bottom of the pile is always our center, and our right guard is always at the bottom of the pile. So if someone's going to get significantly injured, it would be from the offensive side, not the defensive side. So again, it's just a lot of hate. They just mad again because they did not get they don't have the right personnel to execute the play. We have seen different variations from people trying to do the tush push. Look at Buffalo, with Josh Allen. They push him. He just don't go low. He just stands up straight and let and,
He's
and,
just
and
an
let the
idiot.
pile push him. Just let them
Mm-hmm.
take him. So now you want to stop that, So it's just a lot of hate, and I just feel like um it the league's going to allow it because they're going to say, oh, it's about safety. They always want to bring up
That's the
safety.
word, the key word they always throw in your face,
Yeah,
but
they'll
yet
want to
still.
bring
Go
up
ahead, Kimmy. Go ahead.
safety
Mm-hmm.
when it doesn't benefit them. You know, it's always safety. But if it's something that benefits the league, if everybody love it, if everybody could do it, then we wouldn't be having none
It
of
would
these
be. It would be
safety
even. We wouldn't be talking
talks, or
about
we wouldn't
this.
be having this meeting, anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
It's trash. How about how about they need to meet about incorporating the NBA draft lottery into their draft, okay, for the top 10 picks. How about that instead of taking out a play that is so good that people can't stop it, and the only way for them to stop it is to ban it. That's trash. I never seen
Yeah,
nothing like that.
I mean, again, we talk about the NFL. Like you said, they're gonna, basically do whatever they want because they know that millions of people are gonna be watching every word that they say. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We talked about the tush push. The playoff seeding thing is the thing that really bugs me out.
I never.
It's like they want the weak to prosper. Now, it's not my fault that you went 12-5 and finished second in your division because the team ahead of you went 13-4, 14 and
Mhm.
3, whatever. And to add insult to injury, if you went 12-4, 12-5, and the team ahead of you went 14-3, in all likelihood, the team ahead of you beat you twice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why would you think you deserve a home? Let's call it a home playoff game or a better seed because you first of all you couldn't win your division. Second of all, even if the division finished in a tie, I'm gonna go deep with it. Even if you finish in a tie, it's conference.
Mhm.
Your record in the conference.
Yeah.
Now, say you played that team that's 9-7 and won the division, and they beat you, but you're 13-4. You have the hissy fit because you don't get a whole. You got to go see them.
Yeah. Well, you should have won your
Nigga, you
conference.
was 13-4. Beat them.
Yep. You should have won the
And
division. Like
that's all. That's that. You know what I mean? Why? See,
that's the
I'm
point of
about to go
winning.
somewhere else with it, Broski.
Yeah. Like that's
This
the point of
whole
winning
this
your
whole thing
division.
is turned into a crybaby atmosphere.
It
If
is.
you cry loud enough, oh, we got to come over here and wipe the tears off the baby. We got to acquiesce to the baby. Keep the baby quiet. We're gonna change the rules. We're gonna figure it out. This and that, and the third. Now, my old ass didn't want you to change the rules in the first place, but you changed the rules in the name of safety and in the name of all of that. But my question is, my old ass, why you change it back?
Because they should have never
And
changed it in the first place.
I'm coming from not the stand get off my lawn. I'm coming from the OG perspective. Something that's been rocking for all these years. Now, because um, a certain element decides that this is old fashioned. We need to step it up, and you listen. And I'm not mad at you
Mhm.
for listening. But what I am mad at you about is because you didn't listen to the people who did what got you here, i.e., the NBA All Star Game, i.e., the Pro Bowl, i.e., the divisions, all that. You trying to change it to acquiesce to who? We already know. We talked about this behind the scenes. You got 32 teams in the league. Half of them are getting the playoffs.
Yep.
What else you want? And if you are in a 32 team league, which allows 16 teams to make the playoffs, 8 in the AFC, 8 in the NFC, right? Why can't you finish first? If you're so good and you 14-3 and you this and that and the third, why? And then you want to complain? I don't care about the first round. I don't care about the second round. I don't care about the championship weekend. All I care about is where your team finishes because then you know who's playing who and when. All this pulling teams out of hat and we're gonna reseed after the first round. What if the top teams lose? Which we know is a thing in the NFL.
Mhm.
They get that week off, Browski. They get that home. Ask the Lions. Ask them, right?
Absolutely.
So, and this is coming from the old perspective. Like I really, the new cats, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. We already let you get away with that, putting in two extra teams in NBA playoffs. So you can get 10 and all that old crybaby stuff. We let you get away with that.
Mhm.
And that's starting not to make no sense. The Bulls was the 10th team in the East, and we ain't gonna talk about how they got mollywopped, manhandled, dealt with.
Yep.
So they shouldn't have been there in the first place. But
They was there.
so you said something very, very thought provoking when we was talking on the phone the other day. You said that again at the end of the day, the more the merrier. If a team needs that extra to get into the playoffs, and then they flame out in the playoffs, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Now, we get it. It's about adding more teams, more money, more eyes. And if that's the case, Browski, we've been doing this for 2.5 years now.
Mhm.
Say that. Why won't you say it? Why? So, because when people like ourselves, when we speak to it, oh, you're hating, the game is changing, it's not like it was in the 90s, and da, 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buffalo went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
It came out with zero rings.
Came out with how many rings, Bro? Say it again.
Zero.
Zero. The same
Zero.
amount that Browski got the wedding ring on, so she got Buffalo beat.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So, so again, at the end of the day, it's like you want to bend and acquiesce to the teams that are crying. The hit, what they say, the hit dog always hollers.
Yep. Hit the always
Um,
calling.
you mentioned it. The Buffalo Bills, they have a 6'9" quarterback who can't get down for the tush push, even though you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You got the Green Bay Packers, who for the life of me, they don't have an owner. So to me, they're kind of like able to get away with this type of thing because nobody's really held accountable and
Mhm.
responsible. You're gonna hear about a bunch of anonymous Kimmy
Yeah.
or a source or
Anonymous
this or
source,
that. You know what I mean? So
insider.
yeah, yup, somebody who knows and this and that. What we know down in sports, we know that the Green Bay Packers don't have an owner. We know that the Green Bay Packers can make these suggestions
Mhm.
and then try to change other owners' minds. Because right now they ain't nowhere near. What they got 16? They need 24, right?
Yeah. They need 24.
So between right now, as Down in Sports Talk is on the air, and tomorrow,
They on the
they gotta
phone.
flip 8 owners. They gotta flip 8 of them.
They got flip 8.
They gotta flip 8 of them. And they
Yep.
don't got a lot of time to do it.
They don't. They got a couple
So
hours.
and see, Browski needs to get the Down in Sports Talker of the week because you already said that when the other teams are trying to do it, and the Eagles, they following the Eagles example because the Eagles have the personnel, right? You have, it's a copycat, what we call it, Browski, a copycat league, right?
Copycat lead.
But why? Browski even said it.
Yeah.
You got OTAs, you got training camp, you got
Yeah.
the practice during the week, you got all that.
Yeah.
You can't work out a scenario because how many times is it going to happen in the game? It's not going to happen 10 times in the game.
Exactly. That's the
Go
thing.
ahead, Kim.
They make it seem like every third down we doing it. No. It's don't let us get third and one. Don't let us get fourth and one. Stop us. Or stop the play. Again, it's not a surprise. You know it's coming. Just like how we have a lineup for the touch push, have a lineup to defend it. Defend it.
Right. That's right. That's right. You're right. And nothing you said is wrong. Nothing you said is could really even be debated or questioned unless you're a Packers fan or some shit. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, um, what got you here? You know, you can't take the fact away from the Eagles that they've been in, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. You can't take away the fact that they've won one Super Bowl and they maybe could have won another. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
that's neither here nor there because again, at the end of the day, Brodsky talked about earlier how the in her city, the Philly sports fan is not really kind of too young to remember Pete Rose in 1980.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this, no offense. They will talk the hell out of you about the Philly special.
Sure
They
will.
will talk you under the table about the Philly special.
Sure will.
They will talk to you and act like it just happened. And that's what you love about sports.
Yeah.
That's what you love about it. You know what I mean? Um, why did outlaw the Philly special?
Yeah, right. Outlaw,
I'm
outlaw
just
it
saying,
all.
Kimmy. I don't know. I'm just saying. You
Outlaw
know,
all of it, okay?
outlaw the double reverse. What
Outlaw
about
the
when
flea flicker.
at the flea flicker? How about at the end of the games when they be doing that lateral stuff? Outlaw that
Outlaw that. Outlaw
because
all
you know what
that.
I mean. Outlaw that. So
Outlaw the jet
again,
sweep. Like, come on
yeah,
now. Like,
outlaw that. Outlaw the what was it? The RPO.
outlaw that.
Outlaw the RPO.
Yeah, so
Right.
I don't
So
know.
again, yeah, it's so much stuff that you can outlaw. If you since we outlawing stuff, yeah, we want to play judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. So again,
it
it takes
doesn't.
away from the vibe of the game. Again, Brodsky already said they got personnel for it. They got playbook. What I want to see one day, and I hope Nick Sirianni missed the contract extension.
That's right.
I hope that he's listening. Run a fake on him one time. That would just people's head with a the Philly the tush push is coming. Jalen takes the hand off
And hands it off.
and hand it off.
Just go right around. Or
And Saquon goes, since you can't go through the line, go over the line like Walter Payton. Go over the line like Walter Payton. Because I've seen plays where Walter Payton went over, up and over, and landed on his head. I think there's a picture of him on his head, feet up like this. Nobody said a word.
nobody said nothing.
Nobody said word to first, Browski. But now you got an O line in front of you. All them cats average about 300 pounds,
Exactly.
right? So again, where's the injury? I'm gonna turn my camera
Yeah.
off and let Browski talk. Cause Browski's on a mission. Like,
Listen,
where's the injury coming from?
that's the same thing I'm saying. It's like, where's the
How many?
injury?
How many?
Show me.
You said the last 3 years. How
Yeah.
many tush push play? How many tush push plays have you seen? Literally
Probably, mm,
30.
I think maybe more. I probably
Okay.
say like
How many
more.
injuries? We just spoke to it. How many injuries?
None.
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 So
And if
again,
they did get injured or hurt, it wasn't nothing
it
major.
wasn't
Listen,
a broken
listen,
leg or no.
everybody is an injury can happen on every play. We have seen so many non-contact injuries
Right,
that have gotten guys carted off the
right,
field,
right.
not ever to be seen again until a
That's
year
cold, Boston. Ever to
or
be seen
two
again.
later. Okay, we seen people get injured and never come back on the field. Non-contact injury. So all that talk about it could lead to injury is BS. You know. So
Oklahoma City getting injured right now. It's 8-0.
well,
But yeah. I mean, we could talk about it till we're I can't say blue in the face. Till we're chocolate in the face. It's really much ado about nothing. They should have figured out a way to keep the Vikings from having to have back-to-back international games. They should have figured out a way how the Eagles have to play Washington, Buffalo, then Washington again.
or
It's other
or
stuff. Go ahead, go ahead, I'm sorry.
or how about this? How about we don't have no back-to-back home games? We are the Super Bowl. We are the reigning Super Bowl champions, and
They
we have
have no
no
back-to-back
back-to-back
home
home
games.
games.
I never heard of that.
That's that's wild to me right
I
there.
never
Okay,
heard of that. But
crazy.
the Vikings got back-to-back international games.
Yeah, crazy. Like,
Crazy, Kim. It's what my pops used to say. Going to hell in a handbasket.
yeah, it's
Like
weird, man.
used to be fun. Now you got to remember the rules. Now you got to do this. And if something happens that we, pardon itself, if something happens that we know, pardon itself, is not supposed to take place, they have some kind of wild explanation for why it
Mhm.
should take place. So we don't know what the hell we looking at.
Yep.
And we've been watching a command. What me? I mean, what, about 50 years. Brodsky about 34 years. I ain't gonna blow your age up or nothing like that. That's not cool. But we have almost 100 years between us of experience
Yeah.
and watching
Yeah.
sports,
Yes.
right? So I think that with the understanding, never played an NFL game in my life. I never played an MLB game in my life. Never, ever. But I tell you this, I can speak to it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about, oh, well, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, and they should do it and to change it for the better of the game. For who?
For who?
Not for me,
No.
because I was
No
doing all
longer.
right before the tush push, because they was used to call the quarterback sneak,
Yep. Yep.
or they used to call it a fullback blast.
Fullback blast, fullback dive,
Yeah,
halfback
let's go, Kim.
dive.
Yeah. So again, like y'all throwing the safety word up in the like they out there doing the tush push with no helmets.
Exactly. And they still wearing and they still wearing leather helmets out
Yeah,
there.
I
Like, come
mean,
on now.
so I don't Roger Goodell. Y'all need to figure it out because us over here down in Sports Talk, we figured it out already. We know what it's about at the end of the day, but we don't understand it at the end of the day. So I'm not an Eagles fan. By no stretch. We're in the same conference, Buck Nation all day, right? But let them run. Let y'all can have that. And like you said, Brodsky in the beginning of the show, stop it.
Stop it.
If you if
The
you
only
can't stop
way
it, go
the
ahead,
only
Kim.
yeah, the only way to prevent us on doing that, 31, 4th and 1 on the goal line, wherever we're at, is to stop it.
That's right. Then we won't even be having this conversation.
Exactly. It's not even a hundred
You know,
percent guaranteed. It's
go
like
ahead.
it's like 94%. You know, it's not even. It has been stopped. Ty Bowles has stopped it. I seen it. You know, but
Say
it's
that again, Brodsky.
like
Say that again.
it's been stopped. But once again, you know, at the end of the day, we will always prevail. But it's not fully guaranteed. You know, like nothing in football is
It's
fully
just a
guaranteed.
play. It's
It's a
another
play.
play in your playbook, right?
Just like how when the West Coast offense was introduced, you know, it was like, oh my God, what is this? You
Right.
know, RPO, oh my God, what is this?
Right.
You figure out a way to stop things.
And,
You know,
and,
figure
and
this
and it's
out.
a beautiful thing when you have those special plays in your offense with the personnel that can run it.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. Because you can have all the fullback dives and the hit the A gaps and all that. If you don't have the personnel to run those plays, who are you? The Chicago Bears?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Um, we got a few minutes left. Broxy got something to take care of for this watching these games and deal with what she got to deal with. Um, we're gonna talk about some baseball for about 5 minutes. Next week will be our quarter pole analysis evaluation, right? We were talking behind the scenes how remind me of an old old Denise Williams song. It's going to take a miracle for the Baltimore Orioles to get their thing together.
Yeah.
We were scared of the Baltimore Orioles. We talk about the Baltimore Orioles is that next team, and they're going to do this. Whoop de whoop. They got the youngsters, and they got wow. Life comes at you fast. They fired Brendan Hyde, their manager, who really had nothing to do with when he was winning 100 games.
It
Oh,
was
he was the
cool.
man, 50 grand. But they never won a game in the playoffs.
And they're
So
15-31.
yeah, so that what have you done for me lately, right? So
Exactly.
again, with the way things are going, we're not gonna stay on it because we're gonna be baseball heavy next week. I just wanted to speak to that. Like the Baltimore Orioles are, let's let you know in advance that they're one of the disappointments so far as we approach the quarter pole. What are one of your surprises so far as we enter the quarter pole?
Um, I will. Uh, you know what? My surprise is the NL West. of how close it is. At the beginning of the season, we look at the Dodgers as, you know,
They're gonna
oh,
win 130 games. Yeah,
we
right.
we already handed them the
The
trophy
World Series. Right.
already.
Right.
And when
Right.
we look at the division now, you got four teams that's 3 games out. The Diamondbacks is 3 games back of the Dodgers. The Giants, we've been talking about the Giants, a game back.
Yep. We
The
talked about the
Padres
Giants, right?
half game back, and you got the Dodgers that's they're holding a 3 game lead in that division. They're 29-19. Padres 27-18. Giants 28-20. Diamondbacks 26-22. So it's like when you look at that division right now, it's like it's anybody's division. There's no clear cut winner. We thought the Dodgers were gonna run away with the division early, and it hasn't happened. Do they
Nope.
have injuries? Yes, everybody has injuries in the beginning, but they still have a strong enough roster to sustain when
Right.
Freddie Freeman was
Right.
out or when Hernandez was down for a little bit. The roster that you have built, damn near $1 billion roster,
Right.
have been able to sustain those brief periods where those guys was out of the lineup. And who knows what's going to happen, as we get closer to the trade deadline. I can't imagine them being buyers because they already bought everything.
Everybody. Right.
Okay, like what else do they have? What room do they have left? But it's gonna be very interesting. Like I'm really keeping an eye on that division because it seems like what everybody thought was gonna happen, it's not happening.
And you don't play the games on paper.
That's right.
Don't play the games on paper. Um, my surprise. I mean, the disappointment is the Baltimore Orioles. Um, I'm gonna say this, Bowski, and it might sound crazy. My surprise is the Athletics, and the reason why my surprise is I'm surprised they won as many games. What they got? 18 wins. I'm surprised they won as many games they won already.
Um, yeah, they got no, they got 22.
Look at this.
They're actually only 6 games out
Look at
of
this. Yes,
the AL.
a team
Yeah.
that don't have a home.
Nope.
Everybody laughed at. Everybody scrutinized. And I'm
Yep.
gonna tell you this: they should have never left Oakland in the first place.
Well, you know
But
what?
go
It's
ahead, Kimmy.
Oakland. It's the city of Oakland fault because the Coliseum is trash. They
Mm-hmm.
they didn't
I've
put
been there. Yep.
anything
Mm-hmm.
into it. It seemed like
It's
this.
in the hood. Yep.
Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
no support from the city.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I keep my organization there, where we go to all the other stadiums? It's beautiful. They building new stadiums. They upgrading their existing
Mm-hmm.
stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right
we're
across the
sitting
bridge,
here.
right in San Francisco, right? Let's go,
Yep,
Kimmy.
and we're
Mm-hmm.
sitting here in this freaking dumpster fire.
Dilapidated,
Yeah,
John Madden, Oakland
exactly.
Raiders,
For real, like
Reggie
it's so
Jackson.
it's so crazy. And so I don't blame him for losing from leaving, but I definitely do agree with being shocked with as much many games they have won so
Yeah.
far. They have, as we said behind the scenes, they have talent. They have some young talent there that hopefully they can home and like just not be bad,
Mm.
not be the White Sox, not be the Rockies. Like stop being a bad team, and it starts from the top. Once they get that front office, situated and get the right people in, it will start trickling down. And I think the first move in the right direction was to leave Oakland. You have to leave that toxic place. It's a losing atmosphere there, and they gotta find their place.
Right. I'm gonna give you a history lesson right quick. Now that you think about when you brought that up about leaving Oakland and all that, this was inevitable. History lesson right quick. When the Oakland A's was winning 72 World Series,
Hmm.
73 World Series, 74 World Series, they had, let me see, they had Catfish Hunter, Vita Blue, Blue Moon Odom, Raleigh Fingers, those was the pitchers. They had Reggie Jackson, Joe Rudy, Bert Campaneris, Sal Bando, Bill North. Um, they had a squad. The owner, Charles Finley, was the one that messed that up. They could have won 5 or 6 World Series in a row. Of course, economics got in the way. Charles Finley was like, "Yo, if I can't do what I want to do, I'm either gonna move the team." Because they was talking about moving the team when Charles Finley was alive.
Mhm.
So you touched on another point. You said that the stadium is dilapidated. It's old. It's one of the old dinosaur when it comes to stadiums,
Mhm.
right? So this move was inevitable. They was dying to get out of Oakland. They got the blueprint from Al Davis. May he rest in peace.
Mhm.
When he was bouncing the Raiders all over the place, from
Mhm.
L.A. back to Oakland, back to L.A., back to Oakland. Like he was bouncing them all over the place. So the blueprint was written, right? And like you said, instead of spending money to improve the Coliseum, maybe tear it down and start from scratch or some shit. You looking across the bridge, across the Golden Gate Bridge, you see the arena that the Golden State Warriors have.
Mhm.
You see what they did to Levi's Field with the
Mhm.
49ers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So again, like you said, they were backed up against the wall and they really didn't have a choice.
Yep.
Classic organization, dope uniforms. Can't front on the Oakland A's uniforms. Can't front on
Yeah.
it. And like you said, it was time for a move, and they just if they the Vegas thing is set up. They was so serious about it. We got to get out of Dodge while Vegas is being set up. So they in Sacramento for 3 years. So again, that speaks to how what's the word I'm looking for? How damaged that ownership is in with the athletics.
Yeah.
Um, but again, they're playing with house money. They got nothing to lose. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, I thought they got 22 wins.
22.
The Colorado Rockies looking at what's the Colorado Rockies excuse? What's the Rockies excuse? You know what I mean? So again, that is just a sad situation, man. And that says to me, man, maybe after Big Lefty is did his bid on this planet, this ball of clay, they might move the Yankees. They moved the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens are the old Cleveland Browns. Don't play
Yep.
with me.
Yep.
Don't play with me. So again, anything is happening. What Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Right, right. So again, at the end of the day, man, just be thankful for what you got. Enjoy your teams and your city because again, a lot of these smaller towns, and I call them towns because they're not big metropolises like Philly or New York. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They're going to be getting major league teams,
Mhm.
right? So this is what we got to look forward to. Down in Sports Talk, we in the building. We get ready to get to Browski's favorite part of the show, when we get down on some things. But right, real quick before we get into that, for my hockey people, conference finals. Got the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. We got Colorado. We got the Carolina Hurricane and the Florida Panthers. I'm gonna say it right now. It's Edmonton's time. Dallas got the hot goaltender and Jake Ottinger. It's Edmonton's time. So I'm gonna say Edmonton, and in the East, oh man, that's tough. Florida's nice. Carolina's nice. Florida Panthers. So I got Florida and Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals. Um, what you getting down on tonight, Browski?
Well, it's so crazy that the WNBA season had just started,
Mm-hmm.
last weekend.
Oh yeah, let's go.
And now we already are in mid-season form with
Right, right.
bull crap. Okay? Here we go again. They're still running the same narrative. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. You know, hard foul that the refs deemed as a flagrant foul. Okay, that things like that happen in basketball all the time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
right, that's basketball. But then we have to take a step back and look at the full situation. The atmosphere in Indiana, anytime the Chicago Sky play,
Mm-hmm.
is vicious. They
Mm-hmm.
said it's almost Boston Celtics like vicious.
Mm-hmm. 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 You're
You
right.
know,
You're right.
with the racial slurs,
Mm-hmm.
um,
The close proximity of
the close
Chicago and Indiana. Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. And it's just like it's things like that. It shouldn't be tolerated. Um, in any league, in any sport, these are human beings that's playing the game for our
Right.
entertainment.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Right.
so now we are getting personal, saying personal, hurtful things to people, making it a very hostile, uncomfortable environment for people to come into play in. Unsafe.
Mm.
Unsafe. Yeah, we understand that when you go to a rival arena, it could be a little hostile, real hot, everybody's on edge, but it's a it's a line that should never be crossed. And it seemed like when it comes to Angel Reese in that particular area, that line is always crossed. And there seems to never be any type of action being done with the league to, quote unquote, everybody talking about player safety. Well, what about
Mm-hmm.
our safety?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to hear grown men, I'm talking about RG3, Robert Griffin III,
And Ryan Clark.
sit, sit on his stupid podcast and just make a statement saying that, oh, Angel Reese hate Caitlin Clark. Why would you say that? Why would you put that out in the atmosphere where it's already toxic and very hostile against Angel Reese, where people over there in Indiana already have that in their mind? So now you're fueling the fire even more there, the hatred even more there. As a black man, you're supposed to look out for this black woman who's a young, up and coming player. She's young, who's really starting to get into her stardom, in a professional setting. And then, I gotta give Ryan Clark a little props, because he went back at him and, and was saying, like, Mr. Tripp telling him that, bro, like, you wrong for saying stuff like that. But this is not the first time that I have noticed RG3 saying some problematic stuff about black athletes, female or male. Um, that's one reason why he's no longer on NFL Network anymore, because his takes was a little, um,
Bananas.
yeah, very corny
No
also.
pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, and then when we look at his life, we kind of see why. You know, guys, especially black guys who tend to have white wives or or girlfriends
Significant others.
or others, yeah, and that's another race, tend to always seem to go harder on black women. And I always think like, wow, that's crazy because your mother's black,
Hmm.
your sister's black, your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's
Auntie,
black,
grandma,
your
all that.
aunt,
Mm-hmm.
all you. So do you go hard on them the way that you're going hard on this person that you really don't have any type of personal relationship with?
Right. You don't even know it. Right.
You
Right.
don't know if a can of paint, but your words carry weight and it's flaming the fire of the hatred that's going towards
It's
her.
already out there. Right. Let's
Yeah.
go,
So
Brosky.
like you're saying that she hating Caitlyn It's crazy. And what's wild is they never ask Caitlyn about Angel, but it always asks Angel
Angel about
about
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn.
Hmm.
Like that's crazy. I feel like
Yeah,
now, like that's old news. That's the narrative is done. It's
right.
over.
No doubt.
Like move on for this and let's just enjoy the lead. Let's enjoy
Enjoy these two young women at the top of the profession for the next 10 years, man. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Let's
We got like
enjoy
about
that.
5 minutes left. Great show tonight. Brasky's on point. Um, Housewarming and a house will do that for you. You know what I mean? Salute. Again, what I'm gonna get down on real quick, and I'm gonna say this. Cooper Flag 8 at the Rucker. Cooper Flag 8 at the Rucker.
Mhm.
Like the homie was telling me, if you can come in here in this cage and get busy because you have a lot, the bar's high, Kobe, KD,
Yeah.
the bar's high.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag did his numbers at the Rucker. And I'm going to get down on that. And again, if that doesn't tell you or give you a suspicion about, you know, where he landed, um, then nothing will. The kid can do his numbers, and again, he's not intimidated because, again, at the end of the day, we could run off a litany of names that have come through the Rucker and did their numbers. You know what I mean? And didn't get a sniff for the NBA.
Mhm.
You know, but nothing against Cooper Flag. He came into the Rucker where a lot of people was like, nah, the homie not going. He was rocking. So salute to Cooper Flag. Um, Not going to get into the Dallas Mavericks thing because then the people will be talking about 85 with Patrick Ewing, and that's neither here nor there. That's Browski over there. I'm left-handed at RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now.
Oh,
Get
do
at
you
the Odd
pick real
Partners,
quick?
man. Go ahead, Browski.
Do you pick my all right? My
Oh,
pick.
yeah. Do your pick right quick. You go first.
OKC and 7. Pacers and 7.
Browski's been a part of this show for the last 2 years. I got Minnesota
Okay.
in 6.
Okay.
Halliburton, pull the curtain. Everything's certain. Knicks in 6. All right, we about to get up out of here, y'all. We about to run out of time. I'm left-handed. That's Yada Bear over there down in sports. Make sure you check us out all the time. Make sure you check out the Odd Partners album, man. We're getting a lot of love, man.
Yeah,
And
I
listen,
like it. I'm telling you,
it's
it's
it's it's humbling me, man, for real. Because again, at the end of the day, man, me and my man P, we got together and did this thing, and we hope the people like it, and apparently they do. Shout out to my man Doodlebug from Diggable Planets because he was like, "Yo," and again, it's just like you got to put it out there. You can't be scared. You can't be
good.
like thinking that, oh, I know what's gonna happen because you don't,
Yep.
right? And I'm a living example of it. I'm about to get up out of here. Don't go nowhere, Browski. Down in Sports Talk, man. We'll catch up to y'all next week. Next week is our baseball evaluation show.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna make it do what it do. Hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Make it do what it do. Enjoy the NBA conference finals. Enjoy the
Yes.
Stanley Cup conference finals
Yes.
and all that good stuff. Down in Sports Talk. We out on a Tuesday night. We'll talk to y'all. Peace.